welcome to another edition of Mai Tai TV. I am George, and this is
John Hambone McGuire.
And we are here to talk about so much goodness today. Today we're going to start off by making you and me and John a Painkiller, which is my favorite tiki drink outside the Mai Tai. This might be my favorite. We got to turn our volume down. There we go. And then we're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and who is not in the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame, and why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame absolutely sucks. So, and what else are we going to talk about today?
Oh, we're going to talk about Lucha Underground, and we're going to talk about what makes us happy.
We are going to talk about what makes us happy. I really want to talk. A lot of things make me happy. This show makes me happy. The fact that we are on episode number 3 makes me absolutely happy. Because if you had told me we'd be doing this about 3 months ago, I would have laughed at you. If you had told me we'd had 5 viewers, I would be so laughing at you. But we do, and this is awesome. Anyway, today we're going to start off with the Painkiller. We were told that we need to focus a little bit more on cocktails because this is a cocktail podcast, even though not really. I think we just use that as the name to start off with.
And an excuse to drink together on a Tuesday night.
So my favorite drink is the Painkiller. It is kind of like a pina colada, but not like a pina colada. It is safe when it needs to be. It is I don't know. It's 2 parts. It's two ounces of rum, and then a whole bunch of fruit. And you'd think it would be just super sweet, but it's not, is it?
I think it's really well balanced. In full disclosure, especially for certain friends of mine that are watching right now, yes, I am drinking something that involves coconut. And I hate coconut, and I'm loving this. So this is an awesome, awesome drink.
So this drink has a lot of controversy. It was invented, I believe, by the Pusser's Rum Company, which is the rum that we will be serving in today. Pretty much anytime someone uses the word painkiller, it pretty much causes a lawsuit, and Pusser's comes down on people. Most famously, last 5 or 10 years, there was a tiki bar that opened up in New York.
Right.
It was combo hardcore / tiki themed called Painkiller. And that blew our minds. We're like, how did they get the rights to use the name Painkiller?
Right.
But they did, and it was amazing until we realized that they didn't get the rights to use the name Painkiller, and they were sued by Pussers.
Yeah.
So then they actually fell out of existence because of a lot of other things, but that was pretty much the nail they hit, and also made people really not like Pussers.
Right. But you still love Pussers.
I don't really care about Pussers.
Okay.
It's just, that's the wrong, like, in order for us to call this a Painkiller, we need to use Pussers. Okay, you gotta keep stirring the coconut stuff.
Okay.
Can you please, no, like, pick it up and stir. It needs more love. And we will explain to you guys why he's stirring. So, I love the Painkiller so much that Alice and I, on our way down to see the Guar Bar, because we went to the Guar Bar, because everyone should go to the Guar Bar.
I still have not yet been.
We stopped by the Pusser's bar or restaurant in Annapolis.
Yeah, see? He can't say Annapolis, I can't say White Russian.
White Russian. And we went, and I sat down. It's kind of like nautical themed. It's not tiki themed at all. It's nautical themed. And we go in, and I order my Painkiller, expected to be as good as the ones I've had at Frankie's Tiki Bar and Tiki Tea and a million other places. And it was like all rum.
Right.
It was like undrinkable. So I actually did not enjoy my true Pusser's Painkiller. It was actually kind of sad.
Right. Now, what do they call it down there?
It's a Painkiller because they made it.
Okay.
It's a Painkiller. It's got multiple heads depending on how much rum you want it. Tell us about your experience with the Painkiller.
So my experience with the Painkiller mostly comes from tiki bars that just pour too much rum into all their drinks. It comes from, I was really impressed with the first Mai Tai that you made me because it was actually the color that I'd never seen before. I was used to seeing it bright red, pink, almost purple looking under certain lights. So, this is kind of like a whole new experience for me, actually having tiki drinks made properly by a person who's passionate about tiki drinks. I mean, I'm drinking something that has coconut in it. I hate coconut so much.
So what's the closest thing to the Painkiller we have in our area?
Boca Loca?
The Boca Loca.
Boca Loca, yeah.
So to get around not calling it the Painkiller, some places just make the Boca Loca.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing, but not really. If you've been to Lee's Hawaiian Island in Lyndhurst, you probably have had a Boca Loca.
Right.
But it's not painkiller. So we're going to make it right now because he keeps stirring.
I'd like to stop stirring at some point, so we might want to get on with it.
You will stop stirring when I tell you to stop stirring.
It's good for morale.
So, to make a painkiller, it's very, very simple. We start off with 2 ounces of Pusser's rum. I don't even know what kind of rum this is. It's kind of golden.
I'm going to buy you a Vitamix.
Not exactly dark. I one day will get a Vitamix. But, you know, us poor Greek kids. So 1 shot, 2 shots, and I spilled half of it, so let's get a little bit extra of love in there. There we go. Cap that bad boy off. Again, so 2 ounces of Pussers. Then we gotta break out the juice, because this thing's got a lot of juice in it. Shake it up.
Make sure the lid's tight before you do that.
That's the only exercise I get every day. This is gonna be. We gotta come up with something so we don't have dead air on this, because I gotta do 4 ounces of pineapple.
Wow. What's cool is I'm going to tell you all what's in the glass right now. George called me on the way down. He wanted me to get an orange to garnish it with. We actually have giant, large, square ice cubes, which is something I really do enjoy in a beverage, especially if it's an old-fashioned or something that is a muddling drink. If we're in a muddling establishment, I do like to have something that has a nice, large, 1 single ice cube, and it is taking up most of the glass.
So we did 1 ounce of orange juice. We're now gonna do 4 ounces of pineapple. I'm shaking because I'm so nervous to be on TV with you guys. I'm kidding. You know I love you. And I'm using, I think, some sort of Trader Joe's pineapple juice. As long as it's from Costa Rica, you know it's good stuff.
Just kidding. It's Libby's. It was made in a factory.
They're gonna mock us to death.
Yes, Jen. We are a muddling establishment.
So now I need the most dangerous part of all this, the 1 ounce of coconut cream.
Thank
so
God.
Coconut cream in a can is solid up top. And I didn't realize that when I got involved in this. And I opened up the can and it is just, I don't know, it's the most disgusting, it's filth. It's white filth. It is the grossest thing I've ever, it's disgusting. I can't even explain what coconut cream is, except it's gnarly, and we gotta drink this. And now I know why most time a painkiller is served in a tiki mug, but I don't have any ready for that right now. So we are gonna have to dump 1 ounce of that stuff in here. Now do it, and don't get it on me, because that shit is sticky. Come on. You know what this looks like.
That's what she said. I'm sorry.
Except, luckily, it does not smell like bleach. Come on. That's just gross. Okay. So we have 1 ounce of... Okay, careful. Can you follow me?
Follow me. All right, you got it.
1 ounce of coconut cream.
There you
go.
Boom.
All right.
Just put it right in.
I'm just going to put it here. We got it. No, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just get rid of that thing. Okay, so we've got everything except for my ice cube. We've lost half our viewership. Ice cube goes in here. Where's the top cup thing? Boom. I was wondering why you had a second glass. And now we shake violently, because this is the only way you will make the coconut disintegrate. At least that's what they tell me. I will take messages while doing this. You're so bossy, George. Thank you. It may have been We will no longer look at the questions during this. Okay, whoever said they wanted more cocktail talk.
You get what you pay for, folks.
All right, we're down. So, this is now very pleasantly shaken. I take 1 more giant ice cube. I plop it in here. And I strain. I don't think you're supposed to strain, but you know, that coconut stuff is so gnarly. I just do not want much of it in my drink. Plus it clogs up the straw. Let's take my strainer and I nicely pour. I think Storm might be in the way. Storm, move over here. And we have, you know, the more complicated our drinks get, the more challenging it's gonna be to watch this show. That's a lot of juice I put in there. All right, and it filled it almost up perfectly. And I will garnish with a freshly cut orange. Where is my straw, sir? And I will stop being bossy for the rest of the show because I feel bad. And we will have a drink. We will cheers to Painkillers.
Painkillers.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's good.
That's delightful. And you forgot to add the...
Nutmeg.
Yeah.
And you take a sprinkle of nutmeg. You should use real nutmeg, but because I don't have any, I don't have the thing to make, like, to shave it. A little nutmeg. Boom. We have Painkillers. Now we shall move on to the real conversation. Let's talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, let's.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is possibly the biggest misnomer in the world.
It really is. Have you ever been?
I've never been.
I've
Have
been
you?
there 4 times.
What's it like? I hear there's nothing. I hear the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the museum, does have much to do with the real with the being known as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was created in 1983. They broke ground on it in 93. It actually was fully open to the public in 95. So in the early 2000s, I was on tour, and what I found out from other bands was if you wanted to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, now this was slick, it was $27 to get in per person at the time. If you were in a band and you were a touring band, and you had a CD or a record or a tape that was professionally done, and it looked professionally done, meaning it wasn't just burned off someone's computer and you made the label like Kinko's, they would let you and your entire band and crew in.
Really? For free?
For free.
That's
because
awesome.
they felt like, bands and musicians to see and understand the heritage of rock and roll, really see where it came from. For a lot of touring bands, it was great because it was air-conditioned, and it was a good place to walk around and stretch your legs out after you've been in the van for so many hours. So I've been there 4 times on the same record. We just kept giving them the same record. We had thousands because obviously no one bought them. And it was awesome because we got like 6, 7 people in each time, and it was pretty cool to walk around in. The first time I was there, they had they do a traveling exhibit. Now this is pretty cool because you get to see different things if you go multiple times. So the first time it was outfits of the gals who were in the girl groups of the 60s, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The second time was it was all Dylan, and it was all artifacts of Bob Dylan, walls that were taken from his apartment in Minneapolis that they put plexiglass over that he wrote his lyrics on, Woody Guthrie guitar. There was an Annie Leibovitz exhibit one year when I went there, and then there was the Roy Orbison retrospective, which was magnificent. Would I have paid $27 to get in to do all this? No. Pretty cool to walk around in when I was there. My issue with it is it wasn't really representative of everything. And there was a lot of all the different styles of rock and roll. It wasn't really about the music per se as it was things that you would just see if you were reading Rolling Stone magazine or if you were watching, VH1 classics and watching old documentaries. In fact, there was a lot of artifacts in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that had nothing to do with anyone who was actually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Which is why I don't think they have anything to do with each other, other than they have the name.
They do. It's all tied in. It's just now. I'm not saying I enjoy the music of Kiss.
I do not enjoy the music of Kiss. I vehemently hate Kiss.
We're not big Kiss fans.
Hate Kiss.
The thing about Kiss is they're global icons, cultural phenomenons, and they went years upon years after being eligible to get into a place like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they would not get inducted because the powers that be felt they were a little too kabuki-ish, that it was too jokey.
Yep.
For a place that, down with the Kiss Army, not us. For a place that was, supposed to be serious about rock and roll, people who sold so many millions upon millions of albums, and on top of that, were just toys, movies, everything, wouldn't induct them. They finally induct them, and what happens? They wait long enough to induct them that not a single original member of the band outside of Gene and Paul are talking to each other. So you're going to induct these people into your thing, put on the big show. I think it was in New York at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Kiss isn't going to play. So the band you're inducting is not going to play.
So they didn't even have the Kiss without Ace Frehley and Peter Criss playing?
Well, they were there, but they didn't play. And the thing was, they, as a group, felt that everyone who had ever played in Kiss at any given time should have been inducted as Kiss. But they were like, no, we're only inducting the original 4 members because those are the 4 members that played on the original record.
So I could care less about Kiss.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I hate the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for many reasons. Now, I will say this, as a huge punk rock fan, I'm impressed that, like, right out the gate, they got the Sex Pistols, the Ramones,
Right.
and the Clash in there. And that was impressive. I wish they had done it while half the members of those bands were still alive, but it was cool. As a heavy metal fan,
Well,
I feel snubbed.
yes.
I feel snubbed. Like, I'm shocked Deep Purple's getting in this year.
Right, that was a Christmas miracle.
But, I mean, come on. Iron Maiden and Priest should be in by now.
Well, yeah. I mean, Iron Maiden, years ago. It seems like a no-brainer. In fact, our mutual friend, Goldfarb, posted today on Facebook, he made Ghost has been nominated for a Grammy.
Which I don't believe in either.
Right, which I don't believe in either. But
As a metal act.
the joke is that I said to him, they're going to probably get beaten by Jethro Tull. Because that's the way it went when Metallica got up for a Grammy so many years ago. Their first Grammy nod ever. They got beat by Jethro Tull. And Justice for All got beaten by some random Jethro Tull record. And Jethro Tull is suddenly heavy metal. I mean, these are the powers that be. These are the people who vote on these things. And it will never, ever be representative of what the people actually want. Or what rock and roll actually is. Mm-hmm. So, it's...
So who's getting in this year?
This year is Deep Purple. NWA is getting in this year. Steve Miller Band's getting in this year. Cheap Trick is getting in this year, which is another kind of controversy because there's question whether Bunny Carlos, who is kind of on the outs of the band, is going to play with Cheap Trick this year when they get in. I hope so. I do love Cheap Trick. I don't care.
So who do you want in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? If you could pick 5 bands that you would want in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, if I'm being honest.
Yes, be honest.
They inducted Elvis right off the bat. They inducted Neil Diamond. I'm good.
No one else.
I don't care.
I will give you my top 5 because I'm very passionate about this. Iron Maiden should be in right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Judas Priest, right now. Yesterday, I think The Damned should be in. I think X should be in.
Yes.
And I'll just put it out there. I think the Dead Kennedys should be in there, as well as maybe in the Misfits.
Well, the Misfits obviously should be in there.
The Misfits should be in there. And, I think it's a shame that we're waiting this long. I think all those bands have been ready to get in. And I'd say down with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Boo!
And I think the best thing you guys should do is just write a letter to your congressman and complain, because that's what you do, right?
Obviously.
So the next thing I think we should talk about is, speaking of rock and roll.
Yes.
A band that should not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is Def Leppard.
Oh, I disagree. I like Def Leppard.
You like songs by Def Leppard. You don't actually like Def Leppard.
No, I enjoy Def Leppard.
You think they deserve a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. You sell that many records, your drummer loses an arm and you come back from that, you totally deserve a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think that, I don't know. I have nothing to say about it. It's pour some sugar on me. I just can't take it seriously. I don't know if they actually influenced anybody. So Def Leppard this week had a huge fail.
What happened?
Epic fail. They had a cruise, which seems to be very popular with the washed-up bands of the day.
A lot of washed-up bands are doing cruises now.
And
they run a ranch dressing on the first day?
They should have. But no, someone died. The bass player of Dio just died.
That happened on the cruise?
It happened on the cruise.
No, wow.
He died on the cruise right before they were about to go on and play.
Wait, at sea?
At sea. They had to go dock in the Bahamas to go drop off his body so they could go back and finish the boat tour.
Oh yeah, I mean because
that's what you
show
do.
Must go on,
what you do,
right?
And then the worst thing that happened.
The drummer lost his other arm.
That would be pretty funny, but no, he did not. The worst thing that can happen happened next. Joe Elliott lost his voice before they were about to go on stage. So Def Leppard couldn't actually perform on their own cruise.
Wow.
And so that happened. It was okay though. He was replaced by the lead singer of Winger.
What? She's only 17, Winger?
She's only 17, and they proceeded to do some songs with him and some other people, and I hear it's pretty horrible. And then they had to do a funeral for the bass player.
Wait,
they actually did a memorial during the set, is what I hear. But it's good because anybody who was on the boat and paid the $4,000 gets a free ticket to a Def Leppard show anywhere they want to see Def Leppard. Not that they'll pay for them to travel there.
No.
But that did happen. So there's that.
It's got to be something with the cruise lines because they did the motorboat,
mm-hmm.
and then 2 months later, Lemmy died. maybe it's a thing now.
Maybe it's a thing. I mean, I don't know. I would not see a band on a cruise. I hate cruises. Despise cruises with my every little being of my cockles.
Even Iron Maiden?
I would not see Iron Maiden on a boat.
So you're saying that you would not enjoy getting up, playing shuffleboard with Steve Harris?
If Steve Harris wanted to play shuffleboard with me, I would play shuffleboard with Steve Harris. Not on a boat, though.
But you got on a boat.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
I have when I was a kid.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's a different experience when you're a little kid.
I just go to poor
Mickey
people.
Mouse
I
there,
went
sure.
on a poor person boat. I don't know. The Captain Louis.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Captain Louis?
Yeah, it was Captain Louis. It was my dad's boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an awkward experience. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, that's cool.
So, what else is on the agenda? It's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about Lucha Underground. The best thing that happened to professional wrestling ever. We said we would not talk about the WWE today.
Yes, but we're totally going to talk about Lucha Underground. So,
what do you want to know?
I'm just kind of shocked by it because you're like, you have to watch this. Our buddy Ken says you have to watch this. Don Becker says you have to watch it. So I finally sat down the other day and I watched it. Now, it's on the El Rey Network, which not a lot of people get in our area, the El Rey Network. But the El Rey Network shows like a lot of 80s horror movies. They show like constantly showing Miami Vice. Robert Rodriguez is from Dusk Till Dawn. The series is on there, which is actually pretty good. So I'm familiar with it, but I just don't have it. So I found the episodes on YouTube, the season premiere of Lucha Underground, Season 2. And it was nothing like I expected because it was essentially like watching what Robert Rodriguez, I would imagine's thought on Grindhouse is, but modern Grindhouse, because here you are, you're doing all these crazy, well-shot telenovela-style vignettes, and then they wrestle. It was awesome. It
is, people call it a combination of telenovela and murder mystery and professional wrestling. And I think that's a good way to talk about it. For those who don't know, it's unlike the other crappy wrestling federations, they do not have cheesy, washed-up TNA stars on there. They do not have, like, it's not Ring of Honor where, like, we have to be honorable. Like, they murder people on this wrestling show. It's really cool.
And then, like, convert them to, like, evil and Satan and...
Yeah, it's nuts. And it's an hour long. It's on once a week. Excuse me. It's on the worst channel ever, the El Rey Network, which is available nowhere.
But it's good if you can get it.
And it's all luchadors. I mean, it's like...
It's a lot of luchador. It's awesome.
Classic WCW, guys. You have Chavo Guerrero on there. You're going to have Rey Mysterio this year. That's the big surprise. Their champion is Muerto, he'll fight women.
All right, so is this something that in all the years that I've watched pro wrestling I've never seen before? There was a title fight where a man fought a woman, and it was awesome.
Did that freak you out at all?
It was unexpected. It was something that I don't think you'd ever see in any of the major federations. It was definitely well, at first it was a three-way dance between her and her tag team partners, or I don't know if she was the valet. It's the first time I've ever seen it, so I think she was the valet, and then she ends up whooping up on the tag team she's working with. So it was like Alexa Bliss flipping out on Blake and Murphy, except it actually went somewhere, and she went for a title shot against Mil Muerte, which is, I don't know if you've played the video game Guacamelee.
No.
It looks like the guys, it's Guacamelee just whooping up on people. And a woman, apparently, which is pretty crazy. She almost had him, too. Total screw job from his disciples.
Vampiro's in it.
Vampiro's in it.
It's very old school ECW. So you have violence, ultra violence, and more violence.
They were hitting him with light fixtures, with the lighting tubes, and put him through a flaming table. There was thumbtacks.
So lighting tubes are not a big deal. Have you ever met Chris Bueller before?
Yeah, like 9 times.
Yes. So we used to, for fun, break light tubes over his head.
Right.
At Sam Goody. I used to work at Sam Goody many, many moons ago, late 90s, mid to late 90s. That's where I met my lovely wife. And Chris Bueller was this giant dude that worked in the back.
Right.
And we had light tubes lying around because we had all the lit fixtures were done with light tubes. And I used to have a little bit of an anger issue.
You angry? No.
And I used to do silly things when I was unmedicated. And one day I thought it'd be really funny. I think he just said, would it hurt to have a light tube break over you? And I just grabbed one and smashed.
Yeah.
And he started screaming. And there's blood, and I didn't know what to do, so I hit him again over the back. The pop when you break these lighting tubes, there's this like gas smoke element in there.
There is.
And it puffs everywhere, and when it mixes with blood, it is amazing.
It was pretty awesome. It was actually nominated for Match of the Year, right?
That was nominated for Match of the Year.
Pentagon Junior.
I thought you were referring to me and Chris Bueller.
Well, I see. Now that you say that, with you smashing things on Chris Bueller, I just imagine he's like the The Kevin Nash to your Scott Hall.
We have a lot of issues with gas on this show. That's probably what happens when you drink. So you moved on to PBR.
I did. Well, it was definitely difficult for you to make the drink. I don't want to ask you to make another one on air.
No,
so
I wouldn't.
I always carry it back up.
So the other thing I did with Chris Bueller, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I almost got fired from Sam Goody because there was one day where I saw this, I saw Chris Bueller just standing in the aisle looking at CDs.
Right.
And I just had this urge to give him a swinging neck breaker. If you've ever known what a swinging neck breaker is, it's when you kind of run from behind, you grab a head, you pull, and you hit the guy, and it's an incredible move. I wish I could do it to you, but we don't have camera people on this show, so I can't actually give you a swinging neck breaker.
I don't.
But it's kind of like you go like this, and you pull out, and you drop, and it's amazing. It's a great move. It's very, you can kill someone, but
Yeah.
So I did it to him. Clean, perfect drop. I took the bump. It was amazing. I looked down. It was a customer, not Chris Bueller.
You are an HR nightmare.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I freaked out. I took one look, realized it wasn't him, and just ran out the door of Sam Goody, pretending like I'm not an employee. Luckily, we weren't wearing uniforms at the time. So I just ran, and I banked down the aisle. I went boogieing. Ran to the candy headquarters because I used to have friends there. We used to hook up with stuff. They used to hook us up with stuff. So they hid me in the back. Police are coming. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff. I had to text Chris and go, I just swing a neck breaker to a customer. I don't know what to do. Cover for me. And basically, I got the all clear about an hour later after the customer left. They just treated it like some weird customer did it. Like there was like the Livingston Mall neck breaker man, and like it became a thing.
Did you make the papers?
It was like a ghost thing. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah. it was. Luckily, I never got in trouble. I never got fired either. And I got many stories to say about Sam Goody, but I won't do it tonight. So that's Lucha Underground. It's on the El Rey Network. It's on Wednesdays. I have no idea what time. Maybe 9 o'clock.
I don't have El Rey, so I watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, we watch it wherever we can watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I really think you should check it out. Love Lucha Underground, and highly recommend it to anybody who's a fan of wrestling, of violence, ultra violence, and fun. So we are going to finish the show off.
Big finish.
Of cool things we like.
Yes.
We don't have a name for this segment yet.
We're going to figure that out in post.
So what's your favorite thing this week?
So, my favorite thing this week, my buddy George turned me on to...
Not this George.
Not this George. My other friend George. Turned me on to a show called Berserk. It is from 1998. It's an anime. Now, I don't really have the attention span to watch something with subtitles, so I have to watch it dubbed. It is so good. It's about a mercenary group. And I don't even really want to get fully into it because I really want you to go home and watch it. It's about a mercenary group, and one of the main mercenaries is a guy called Guts. He's got a giant sword, and every time he swings his sword, somebody dies. Look at me when I tell you this, folks. Every time Guts swings his sword, somebody dies. That's the premise of the show, pretty much. It's 24, 25 episodes. It is the best thing you're going to watch all week, and because it's the 90s, there's a band called Pen Pals who is not available on iTunes, much to my dismay. They play the theme, and it's always the gang gets in some kind of trouble, and it cuts right to the theme song, which is like every basic idea and from every hit song in the 90s jammed into one song. Every time Guts swings his sword, somebody dies. Go watch Berserk. It's on YouTube right now. There are 25 episodes. You don't want to miss out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's anime.
But it makes me so happy.
Nobody likes anime.
I didn't really like anime.
Manga.
Bro, I'm not even into it. But I started watching it, and it hits a point in the series where I'm going to tell you something. Spoilers. Guts kills 100 men. If you watch nothing else, you watch on YouTube, Guts kills 100 men. One shot. Dead.
All right, I'll go check it out.
You should check it
out.
out.
Only because you're telling me it's awesome. I actually have two things I have to get off my chest today.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Volcano Tiki shirt.
Volcano Tiki shirt. Son.
Courtesy, not courtesy, I did buy it, but Tiki Swag. At Tiki Swag on Instagram, Tiki Swag, tikiswag.com. The guy imports true, real Hawaiian shirts from Hawaii.
Right.
I am buying all of them. It is, I wish I could model, but I can't stand up. The nicest Tiki shirt I own. Love it. Tiki Swag.
I follow him on Instagram.
And Lawn Darts, Reunited.
Right.
Play the Clash Bar.
Awesome.
Phenomenal show.
One of the best I've seen not just this year because it's only like February, but in the last 5 years. It's been pretty awesome. You have the video up, right?
I was a huge Love Cinema fan, and to see Chuck in a band that, while not quite as offensive and heavy as Love Cinema, I thought they were around the money. An amazing night, amazing show.
Yeah.
Check out the Lawn Darts. I have most of the concert up on my YouTube site, so you can, if you visit, if you just look up, I don't know, if you look up Mai Tai TV and you look at my other videos, you should be able to find the Lawn Dart. So definitely check it out and let us know what you think. That's all for this week.
I think that's it.
Join us again next week. We'll try to figure out our technical difficulties. This show will definitely be on YouTube tomorrow in HD, so you can watch it whenever you feel like it. Please let us know what you think. Please let us know how we can make this better. We're talking about possibly getting bands to perform live on here. We're talking about getting guests. We want to get a month worth of show under our belts to prove that we can do this and that people care about late 30-something aging punk rockers who do nothing but play video games and read comics all day.
That's us.
I'm George. This is...
I'm Hambone.
You can reach me on Twitter at GLK Creative, on Instagram at Cult of George, on Periscope at Cult of George, cultofgeorge.com, glkcreative.com. Hambone, how do they reach you?
And Handbreaker on Periscope and on Twitter, unwinnable.com for Eye of the Beer Holder podcast, of which I am a co-host, D&D podcast at its finest. On Instagram, I'm not going to follow you back because I like to keep that shit personal.
We'll be back next week at 9 o'clock p.m. and we will also probably be doing a double episode next week because we can't do a live one the week afterwards. I'm George. This is Hambone. This is Mai Tai TV signing off.
Aloha.
Перебиты, поломаны крылья, серой болью всю душу свело. Кокаина, серебряный